Happy Wednesday. Now this is your fourth stimulus check update and daily news report. In today's video, I'm going to be answering the simple question of whether or not a fourth stimulus check will be coming into our bank accounts. Personally, folks, I think that our politicians in Congress, especially President Biden, must keep their promise to the American people and send out the fourth stimulus payments right away. Plus, the unemployment benefits are expiring next month, and this means that many people are about to go many days without a stable source of income. Do you guys agree with me? Do you believe that President Biden should send out the fourth stimulus check and extend the unemployment benefits? Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
I think it's safe to say that all of us, whatever our background, our age, or where we live, can agree that we're going to help millions of Americans save money and ease their burdens, unable to afford repairs or a new one. And Gail's not alone.
And don't forget to subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. On this channel, everybody, I always do my very best in providing you with the most up-to-date and reliable stimulus check news. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, folks, to never miss out on the very important stimulus information.
Biden administration officials joined a meeting of the U.S. Conference of Mayors to discuss our eviction prevention efforts. CDC Director Rochelle Walensky provided an update on the state of the pandemic, and Associate Attorney General Vinita Gupta reiterated ways that mayors across the country can work closely with state and local courts to set up eviction diversion programs in their city. This meeting is just the latest in our efforts to communicate and work with local officials to ensure we're getting assistance out to keep people in their.
There are millions of Americans that are still struggling because of the crisis, but the good news is that new names are being added each week to an online petition that is calling and demanding for direct payments of $2,000 to every adult and $1,000 to every dependent in America until this crisis is officially over. The petition has drawn close to 2.8 million signatures, and it's demanding for more stimulus checks. Many Democrats in Congress have signed their names to letters, urging the president to continue providing some form of direct financial support to households.
Some money, we got your $480 million last year, the first increase for the administration of Social Security in many, many years. Because we know that in Vermont or in Oregon and all over this country, when people are walking into or calling up Social Security offices, they're not getting the kind of response that they need because of lack of staffing.
According to Fox News, progressive Democrat lawmakers on July 30th proposed legislation that would give us recurring stimulus checks or guaranteed income with monthly payments of up to $1,200 for adults and $600 for children. It is called the Support Act, everybody, and it is designed to build a 21st century economy that is reflective of Americans' everyday needs. So when lawmakers return, they'll likely continue working on a $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure plan.
We're taking this one step at a time. What we've said we want is a bipartisan commission. I don't want to weaken that position. Everybody knows what my options are. They are no secret. But the preference, not only preference, overwhelming preference.
7 members of the House Ways and Means Committee said in a letter to President Biden a fourth and a fifth check could keep an additional 12 million people out of poverty. More recently, Ilhan Omar has introduced a legislation to provide up to $1,200 per month to U.S. adults and as much as $600 a month to dependents. In a recent news release, Omar said, the Democrats said, "We as a nation have the ability to make sure everyone has their basic needs met like food, housing, and healthcare." In the letter to the president, the House Ways and Means members had asked the president to roll stimulus checks into the families plan that he unveiled early this year.
Well, consumers are certainly speaking with their wallets. More than 80% of retail sales were actually in person, especially on the weekends in July, and in-store sales were up 15.5%.
Proposals from that plan are now forming the foundation of the social spending bill. So everybody, we could be set to receive more stimulus relief by the end of the year. Senate Budget Committee Chairman Bernie Sanders is pushing for the American Families Plan to get some minor changes. In his piece, Bernie Sanders said that too much of the country's wealth goes to a small percentage of earners at the top. Bernie Sanders did hold up the measure, including the American Families Plan, as ways to combat the growing inequality, pointing to the expanded child tax credit, free pre-K, and free community college. Bernie Sanders reaffirmed that the proposed plan would end an international disgrace of the US being the only major country to not have paid family leave and medical leave. And according to the White House, the Build Back Better agenda includes President Biden's American Families Plan and key elements of the American Jobs Plan that were not included in the bipartisan infrastructure deal. In Washington, this proposal is known as reconciliation. But the bottom line is a plan that will create jobs, cut taxes, and lower costs for working families. I just want to see President Biden, folks, send out more relief payments and help out the American people. Many Americans, like I said, are in need of a financial stimulus check. If you guys agree, then let's get this video to 1,000 likes.
We are providing direct relief and assistance to everyday Americans and to make sure that we are building back better, as President Joe Biden promised that we would do, which is exactly the correct approach. Because as the president has indicated, and as many of us in Congress have observed, we can't simply go back to pre-pandemic normal. Because prior to the pandemic, so many people that I have the opportunity to represent in Brooklyn and Queens, so many New Yorkers and so many Americans were actually struggling. And the pandemic really has exposed some of the gaps in our society that we need to address. And the lack of affordability and the inability to access high-speed internet and broadband is among those gaps that we felt compelled to address in the context of the American Rescue Plan. I'm so thankful and pleased to have some very distinguished guests, including the chair of the Federal Communications Commission, who I will introduce momentarily, to talk about the broadband benefit and the ability of all of you or your loved ones to be able to access the opportunity to afford high-speed internet in a way that will allow for the connectivity necessary in 21st century America. What became clear to us during the pandemic, when so many things became virtual, was that there were a lot of people who were left out of the ability to telework or telelearn or get access to telemedicine, which became necessary as society went into lockdown and so many things that were once available to us in a normal way were no longer available. This is why we worked hard to establish the broadband benefit